that's how by that time I coming up in different senior spots. Things that I enjoyed doing mostly was doing something that I won't take you through this, but something that another fellow showed me how to do it. Another black cat handled some neighborhood, social work. And I said to myself, if I ever get to be recognized, I don't want anybody to think about me the way I thought about him. And I said, but I don't know exactly what to do with it. But what I did do, and I told the mayor what I did. What I did, I made sure that when there was a promotion, qualified blacks had an equal opportunity. And if they came in first, they got the job. So it wasn't like this guy I told you I don't want to be like this, who was, you look at his organizational chart, it was a coal at the very bottom, the snow all the way up to the top, and one black piece of coal at the top. And I kept me offering it just like it was in 1937 or 23 or whatever. I said, that's not what happened, but what I've got to do is, when I move somebody, and then don't misunderstand me, I didn't move nothing but blacks. I moved blacks along with the whites.
Right.
I moved women along with the men. See, there was no women in there. I made the first controller, assistant controller, which is a woman, which was, and you're not supposed to listen to this. Mm-hmm. And something, as a matter of fact, she just died. She was like 96 years old, and I made her the assistant controller. And women key punch operators,
right,
things like that. So I wanted to be integrated from the bottom to the top. And the two things that I asked anybody that I was going to promote. One, you had to be qualified. I don't care what kind of precinct captain, whether you're a precinct captain or not, but you got to be qualified to do this work. And two, you have to buy into this process I have, is that when I move you look for another minority or another female to replace you. So there will be people throughout the whole office who were females and who were minorities. And that sort of worked fine. And I told the mayor about it. I was kind of reluctant because, I don't know whether he knew about it, but he never said anything to me about it.
Right.
And he smiled and says, good. I was wondering how you did all that, So anyway, that was something that I was sort of proud of.
So he did not interfere in your internal operation, is what you're saying?
No, he didn't interfere. And as a matter of fact, he congratulated me for bringing women. We had women key punch operators,
right,
and clerks and so forth, but we didn't have any in positions of command. And the same thing was true with the African Americans. And I moved them all up so that, including my office, if I left, there'd be some black and with quality to move up and replace me.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked. But then I was there for a long time.
Yes, long after the mayor died.
Yeah, I was there long before he came in. I wasn't there before he came in, but I wasn't there. I was at the health department, and
right,
everybody knew. But see, I started back in who was it? Kennelly?
With Kennelly in 53.
53,
right,
53 and
55.
Right.
When
Daley came in.
So, did you? So the first time you met the mayor was obviously when he was elected, or maybe you met him before that. No, but you say that you knew his wife before.
Yeah.
Tell me that story. But you knew his wife before you knew him.
Yeah.
How did that work?
She worked for.
This is Sis Daley we're talking about.
Huh?
Sis Daley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
But it wasn't Daley then. I can't think of an unmarried name. Anyway, she worked for one of the computer companies.
Well, back then,
But regardless, what they did, they hired her, the father hired, Richard, hired her to go out and qualify and to try to evaluate all the senior people in the city. I mean, so there's a lot of people in the city, so that was the same, like the top person. And she came around to interview me. And I was telling her, so talk to her like I'm talking with you. And she's scribbling this stuff down. And she says, you know, let me go and call the press. So she went and called the Chicago Tribune and the Sun-Times and told them about miraculous, you know, job hopping that I did, you know. Only the Tribune printed it, though. Sometimes didn't. Anyway, she and I got to be real good, you know, not real good friends, but friendly, you know. When she came in to interview somebody, she'd always run down to my office and we'd chit-chat, take me to lunch, but she had the money, I didn't. And then she you know, Daley was not, I'm not even sure Daley was in public life then.
this is the son, you mean?
Yeah, Richard.
M.
He was down in Springfield, I know.
Yeah, state senator.
But I don't remember whether when he was gone was this that he you know was in public life. Anyway, he came down and told me and says, you know, I understand you're trying to court my lady I want to marry. I said, she certainly is pretty enough. He said, that's why I think I'm going to marry her soon. And so we laughed about it. So
Yeah. Actually, I said sis, but I meant Maggie. We're talking about Maggie.
Maggie,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
I know if you said sis, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It didn't sound right.
Yeah.
Maggie. And she quit and went on, this is long before, not long before. When did he marry her?
Well, he married her it would have been in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, but long before he was mayor. I think he was still state senator.
No, but he was not, it could have been in the 60s. Had to be in the 70s.
70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, that's how I got to know her, and I've known her ever since, you know.
So now, getting back to the Daley years, he was mayor from 55 to 76 when he died. So you worked for him for 21 years.
No.
Well, I'm not for him personally, but
Yeah, right. I wasn't appointed by him.
No.
But I worked for him for 21 years.
Right.
All the years he was in office of mayor. And then went from there to Connelly, to Jane Barron, to Harold Washington, to Gene Sawyer, then to Richie.
Right. Now, what was Richard J. Daley like behind the scenes? What kind of, was he different from the public person that we saw?
Well, I think more interesting, I'll get to that. But how did he differ from Richard M.?
Okay.
Which is the thing that I found most interesting, and knowing both of them well, because I had to make all those goofy mistakes about Chinaman and Richie. Could be ruthless. I mean, very ruthless, because I've seen both of them do some things that I'm not sure I had enough nerve to do. The difference is that with Richard J. Daley, that was always a court of last resort. Tried everything, and then if he had to, stab you in the rear end in public, he would do it. Richard M. Daley was the first the first action he would take on people, whether he had the news or not. He just loved to fire. Both of them fired people a lot, but Richard J. was never as quick to react to someone scooping up and fire him. The flood, remember the flood?
Yes.
Well, at that time I was chairman of the CTA.
Yes.
And it was a I don't know, kept that laughing out on the screen there. But he had some of those politicians who had I won't mention his name, but it had it's an engineering firm, but they had a lot of stuff to clean up and shovels and so forth. So that's the first thing that Richard did was go hire him to clean out the flood.
Right.
The flood. I never. Did you know that under Chicago downtown, the whole area has a basement to it? Oh, you didn't know it.
Yeah.
You're one of the few people who, well, anyway. But I was, the home office for the CTA was at the
Merchandise Mart.
Merchandise Mart.
Right.
Well, right back was the river.
Right.
So obviously, I was concerned about,
Flooding.
What it's going to do with the Merchandise Mart. I came over there, and what they did, they got a whole barrage of old, used bed cushions, not cushions, what do you call them?
You mean mattresses?
Mattresses.
Yeah.
Tons of them. Throwing them down there in this hole, because you can stand up over the bridge, look down, you can see the water just
Right.
in,
Right.
And then I looked at it and said, something's wrong with this, Have you talked to Ed Bedore yet?
Next week.
Okay, well, don't mention this to him, let him mention it to you. I looked at so we had to go to give the mayor a briefing. And I went over with him because I wasn't controlling this bank, I was at the bank then. But I was the chairman of the CTA and this getting ready to tear up the Merchandise Mart. And they were giving all sorts of briefing stuff, And I said, oh, this is, what I better do is, let the mayor know what's really going on over there. So I did. And I said, well, I don't know anything about fixing floods, but as I understand it, there's something called the Corps of Engineers, Army Corps of Engineers, that manage this sort of thing. And that's how they stopped that flood.